Well, good morning, everyone. We are so glad that you've joined us today, and I am Barbara Bach, and with me this morning is...
I am Kellie Lander, and good morning, everyone.
We are here to explain to you the new Matrix 360, but before we begin, during the webinar, should you think of any questions, please type them in the question pane located on the right side of your screen. You know, if you can't see it, there's an orange button to maximize it. Also, Kellie and I will do our best to answer as many questions as possible as the time allows during this presentation. So if you think of a question or you want me to address something, please type it in and Kellie will respond to it. If it's a question that I believe everyone should know the answer to, then I will certainly make that known. Or if it's just something you're privately asking, Kellie can send it to you privately, or she'll send it to everybody that's watching. So get your coffee or your iced tea or whatever you like to drink at 10 o'clock in the morning, and let's get started. So what is Matrix 360? It brings together your two MLS programs, Realist Tax and MLS. Your screens in just a moment are going to be very familiar to you. So here we go. I'm already logged in, and you do get a little extra this morning. You will notice on my screen that it says autosave recovery. I like to address that to everyone because some people kind of forget if you're in the middle of adding a listing and you don't save it, you don't add it as an active status or coming soon or whatever, and you just get out of your browser and don't save it, this will come back the next time so you can finish adding your listing. You can click restore, or you can discard it, or you can skip it. I'm going to skip it this morning. So I have already performed a search. I'm going to bring up my saved search. And there it is right there. And I'm going to bring up my criteria because I know you all are familiar with doing a search. And there's my criteria. And I'm going to click, oh, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong thing. My bad. It's early in the morning. Oh, it is Monday, right? Okay. So let me do results. There we go. This is the default view now. For those of you that might be joining us that haven't done MLS a whole lot, this is the default view. You will notice you have some new tabs at the top. These tabs, many of them are right under here, the photo as well, but it's real convenient at the top. The first thing I'm going to click on is tax, and it gives you a little bit of tax information. There's the owner, the location, tax information, assessment, and the characteristics of this particular property. As you can see, you still have your menu at the bottom where you can do a cloud CMA or print, whatever you need to do. That hasn't changed. Now the next tab, Kellie, I really like. Why do you think I like the Photos tab? What do you think that's really neat about it?
I love seeing all the photos in one place.
That's right. When you click the Photos tab now, you'll see all the photos together. So this brings to mind how important it is to have your photos in a nice consecutive order, like going through the house. Here's the front of the house, and then you go in the living room and through the kitchen. So you have all the photos grouped together for each room. Just like previously, you can click on a photo, get a larger photo, click the arrow on the right, and you can go through the photos and see them in a larger view. So that's really nice. I'm going to close that. So that's the new Photos tab. Now the History tab is absolutely wonderful. And here it comes. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom first of all. Notice it goes back to 2004, and there it is, the MLS number during that time. Wow, this has had a lot of changes back then. You can see price changes, status changes, and for those of you that might have forgotten, A is active, P would be what, Kellie?
Pending.
And how about the X?
Canceled.
How about expired?
Expired.
You're close.
Sorry.
That's right. It's pretty much the same thing. And then an S, it's sold, and this one sold for $194,775. And there it started out at $234,990. Then in 2005, it sold again. So in 2004, it sold February 28th, and then November 28th of 2005, it sold for $290. That's a nice, healthy increase. Then here in 2006 into 2007, it sold for $225. Then here we go in 2008, and then 2009, 10, 12, 17. Woo, look at all this. And now this year. The reason why I really like the history tab is it's a little bit easier to read, I believe. It puts everything kind of together, grouped by MLS number, which I think is really good. The next tab is the parcel map. You get to see the parcel in 3 different views. You have your satellite view over here, which is nice, and I can zoom in, get a little closer view. I can see it's over here by Park Row and Country Club Road. Then I get a nice map which actually shows me the measurements of this particular lot. And if you look real close, you can kind of see in the gray shadows how the house footprint is laying in the plot or the lot. And I can move it, of course. And then you get to see the big picture down at the bottom. Very nice that you have 3 different views. And yes, on this map, in the top left-hand corner, if I click terrain, you will notice any highs and lows, little hills, and so forth. I can also select satellite here if I need to see a bigger satellite picture. And then I can go back to map. So we've looked at the tax, the photos, the history, the parcel. Now the flood map. If you're really interested in the flood zones, you have your legend down here at the bottom, and there is the house there. So you have several new tabs. If it was a foreclosure, I'd see something there. So I'm going to go back to listing. Nothing has changed when you look at a listing. Everything is still the same. You do have your tax at the bottom of the screen. I can click at the photo and go through the photos. Nothing has changed there. I can click tax at the bottom of the screen. Oh, here we go. I can click tax. I have my information. I can close that tab. And then, of course, I can see the movies and all the other information under the photos. So I think it's very, very convenient. I really do like the photos and the history the best of all. All right. Now let's talk about the new, what's really new and exciting. I'm going to hover over search at the top of the screen, and I'm going to select public record. It's down at the very bottom. Down at the very bottom. So here I go. I'd like you to take a moment and look at the screen. It's a combo platter. It has a little bit of tax. It has a little bit of MLS, what you can search by. So at the top portion of the screen, you will notice it says tax search right up here in the top left. Over here on the right, you can see where I can select my counties. I can scroll down. I can click for more. I can get all the counties that you're familiar with when you go to Realist Tax. Nothing has changed there. So I'm going to get it back up to the Dallas area. There we go. Just like Realist Tax, I'm going to show you nothing has changed. I'm going to type in one of my favorite names. What name do you think that might be, Kelly?
It's probably a Dallas Cowboy
You
or an
think?
ex-Dallas Cowboy.
All right. Who would that be?
I think it's your favorite one, Troy.
That's right. So I'm going to type in Aikman, A-I-K-M-A-N. Now I can leave it as that. And if you can see down here at the bottom, there are 75 matches. Whoa. Well, I didn't pick a county, so I'm going to pick Dallas County. And just as a refresher, I can also select another county. I'll select Collin. There are 5 matches with the owner last name of Aikman. I could put in the first name of Troy, but I don't think I will. And I will click Results. This screen may look just a little bit different than what you're familiar with. But let's go over what we have. This has a photo. That little icon means there's a photo. And we see a balloon. If I hover over the balloon, that tells me it's leased. This one tells me it's sold. You have the tax ID number, the address. Just like MLS, if I click on the address, I get a map. But I'm going to click on the property tax ID, and there it is. Oh, we've seen this before, haven't we, Kelly?
We have.
Listing, photos, that's the last listing information. This property on St. John's was leased. I'll go down to the bottom. And it was leased, let's see, when was it leased? It was back in 2013 for 10 grand a month. So we're familiar with that. So what I can do is change my display right up here where it says tax grid. I click on that and I'm back here. I'm going to go to criteria in the top right hand corner. So we look for Aikman in 2 counties. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the screen. I'm going to click clear. Municipality, that's really subdivision. We don't have I can't even say the word municipalities.
It is a Monday.
It is a mouthful. But I can go down here just like in MLS and I can add subdivision if you wanted to search a subdivision in this screen, which I think I'll do to show you. I'm going to type in Royal Chapel. I'm going to type in Royal Chapel. Now there's no matches, but I'm going to put an asterisk after Royal Chapel. Remember, that's the key to searching by a subdivision in this new matrix property search or in a regular search. I'm going to put in that. There's 165 matches. Now, up here, I'm going to make sure it's Dallas County, and I only want those that are owner-occupied. So this is very familiar to most of you, I hope. You can do this in Realist Tax, but the screen looks a little bit different here, and I'm going to click Results. There they are. The red balloons indicates they have been sold or leased. So let me go back to criteria and add something. Notice right here, MLS status. I'm going to click Active. Now watch what happens when I click Results. It changes my results. I'm only getting one property in the Royal Chapel subdivision in Dallas County, and it's active in MLS because that's what I asked for. So I'm going to click on the tax ID, and there it is for $379.9. It's active. It tells me it's active up here in the top of the screen, and there's all my information. I can see all the photos, the history, and so forth, just like we saw a moment ago. So that's pretty good, Kelly. I really like that.
That is pretty good. And I think it's a little bit more streamlined.
Yes. And because I clicked history, I want you to notice there's some mortgage history on this one that comes up. Sometimes you'll see it on a record, sometimes you won't. So I can see in 2002, it was a resale. We have some refis, Compass, Home Savings, great information. Here's the sale history from public records. Nice information. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, here's the MLS history. So I'm going to go back to criteria in the top right-hand corner, showing you the flexibility and the different report that you can get. I'm in Dallas County. I said owner-occupied in a particular subdivision. So I'm going to click my little clear button there, the little whisk broom, and erase all my criteria. Let's talk about foreclosure indicator. So on the left side of the screen, I have my foreclosure indicator. I'm going to select Dallas County. I can put in a zip code. I can put in a city. I'm going to put in the city. I'm going to put in Mesquite, M-E-S-Q-U-I-T-E. So I'm asking in Dallas County, in the city of Mesquite, actively foreclosure. I'm going to click results at the bottom of the screen. Wait patiently. And I'm going to go to the tax grid right here. So here is the information on the first property. If I want to see all of them, I'm going to go up here with tax grid display. They'll come up in a one-liner. You'll see the balloons. Let's hover over this one. It's expired listing. This one's sold, and so forth. Just like MLS, you can also add and take away columns on this tax grid. For example, maybe I don't necessarily need to see the number of beds. I can click on it when I get 4 arrows. Okay. Oh boy, it's not doing it this morning. Isn't that precious? Well, let's see. Okay. Well, it sorted that. Let me see if it'll. You know, Kelly, computers are a wonderful thing.
Aren't they?
Sometimes they work. Well, there you go. There's for subdivision. Let's say I wanted to remove the column. I can click that. Let's see if it. Oh, if you get a pointy finger, just like in MLS, you can sort by whatever column you get a pointy finger. I've sorted by MLS number. I can sort by address. I can also move the columns around. If I have the 4 arrows, I click, hold, and drag. I might want the MLS number over there. I might want the total building square footage after that. So just like MLS, you can design your favorite tax grid. And if you realize you've made a few mistakes, if you will notice the gear right here, and the same one as in MLS, I click on the gear, and I'm going to reset to the system search default because I don't like what I changed. So let's take a look at one of these. I'm going to click on the property tax ID number. Right up here, you can see auction, right up here. So there's the owner's name. I'm going to scroll down, location information, tax information, your assessments, your characteristics, and then your features. You will notice you have a tab that's active now that says foreclosure. We have the history, we have the parcel map and the flood map, but we want to look at the foreclosure. All right. Well, again, Kelly, you never know what a computer's going to do on any given day. So, well, let's try another listing. Perhaps we'll get to see that foreclosure information in just a moment. I'm sorry about that, folks. I'm going to click on foreclosure again, and it doesn't show up. Let's see if I can do another property.
Well, that's how they know this is real and not canned.
Well, that's true. This certainly isn't a canned presentation, is it? All right. So here is, oh, look, here's history. Good. There's the notice of sale foreclosure history right here because I'm on the tab that says history. And then appointment of substitute trustee. I'll just scroll down and let you look at that for just a second. As I scroll down, there we go. That's the end of it. So I can see the trustee's name. I can see the bank here. I can see some dates. Let me go up to the very top. There's mortgage history. There's a refi in 2019. Okay, cross fingers. Let's see if I can click foreclosure again. Oh, it worked. There we go. Notice of sale. Trustee name. Mortgage information. And again, what we saw a moment ago. And of course, there's the flood map and the parcel map. But notice I don't have any of this. And I can go back to tax. I can change my view back to the tax grid if I wanted to. But you know what? Right here where it says display, I'm going to click the drop down. You will notice you have 3 options. We're looking at the tax grid. There's the 360 property view, which is this one. If I click the drop down again, you have the client property view on 360. And I'll go down to the bottom, and there it is there. So let's go back to the tax grid. And that's one that did not have a balloon. Let's look at one that has a red balloon that's sold. I'm going to click on that tax ID number. Notice I now have last listing. I have the photos. I have the history. I have all my tabs are highlighted. So there's our listing history from MLS, sale from public records, mortgage history. And of course, if I click the foreclosure tab, nothing happens. So I will go to history, and there's my mortgage history there. And less listing, and then I'll go back. I'm trying to go to one tab to another and see if that'll make it work. Nope. Okay. Well, that's something I will definitely need to report to Netrest, don't you think, Kelly?
Absolutely. We will
Okay.
be reporting that.
All
Barbara,
right.
we have a question.
Good.
A couple of people are wanting to know, how did you get to the property record search again? Can you go over how to
Sure,
find
I
that
would
one
be
more
glad
time?
to. So I'm going to go back to my home tab so everybody can see the main screen. If you hover over the search tab, go all the way down to the bottom. It's the very last one that says public record. Click on that, and there it is.
Perfect.
So again, you can search by first name, last name, owner occupied, yes or no. You can search by zip code, school district, county. You can search by more than one county at a time. You can search for up to 10 counties at one time. I don't think I'd recommend that necessarily.
That's
but
a lot
you
of
could.
counties.
Yeah, but you could if you wanted to. And so I know most individuals like to look for property if it's owner occupied. You can actually search square footage. For example, let's do Dallas County, and you want to market, I don't know, the big homes. So I'm going to go to square foot for living. I'm going to go 10,000, 1, 2, 3, dash to 15,000. So in Dallas County, owner occupied, and I'll do the city of Dallas. Again, I'm showing you the flexibility of this program. There are 687 properties where their square footage is the size that I asked for. And I'm going to move that column right over here in the center so you can see it more clearly. And there they are. Again, I can click on any that has a balloon and get all this information. Now this one isn't a foreclosure because I didn't search for foreclosures.
Right.
All right. So let's go back to criteria. If there's any questions so far, let Kelly know. I'm here to answer your questions about it.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to erase this. So let's talk about marketing for just a moment. So Kelly, you've been working in a really hot neighborhood, and there's a home that's sold there, and you want to tell all the neighbors in that particular area what's going on, that it is a hot area, and you want to market just those individuals. But you only want to market those individuals that has some equity in their home. So we're going to search by map and a sold last sale date. So the first thing we need to do, and I'm going to start at the very beginning again, I'm going to hover over search and I'm going to go down to public record. It looks like this. Before I put anything on this screen, I'm going to go to the map. Now, I have set my map up as a default, and you can do that, just like you can in MLS because we're in MLS. So I've zoomed in, and I found an area that I work in. This is over in North Dallas, Merrill Road. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see where I am. That tells you, oop, I zoomed out quite far. So here is Webb's Chapel. I'll go up here. Here's Royal Lane. So many of you know the neck of the woods that I'm in here. So I am going to zoom in again. And I'm going to get to my little area. And this is the area right here that I want to market to. I don't want the whole area because that's quite a bit. So I'm going to pretend that one of these houses over here sold. It was a great price. This is a really hot area. And perhaps these homeowners have enough equity, or the timing is right, Kelly, that they want to list their house with me. So the first thing I need to do, I'm going to draw an outline of my market area. Up here at the top of the screen is the freehand polygon. So I'm going to move my mouse exactly where I want here. I'm going to click the freehand polygon. Now, bear with me. Sometimes my hand's not too steady, so I'm going to click, hold, and drag. I'm going to go on down that street, pensive. I'm going to go down to, whoa, that street there. And I'm going to go up. Whoa, my hand's kind of wiggling. And I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to include the shape. Those are the people that I want to market my services to. Now, so I've outlined my area. I'm now going to go to criteria in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Notice it says map area selected. I do not have to put in a county. I don't have to put in a city or a zip code because I've drawn an area that I like. Now over here, last sale transaction date. I want to go back at least 5 years because that gives people some time to have some equity. So in my last sale date, I'm just going to pick July 1st of 2010 and a minus sign. So I'm looking for properties in that area that I've marked off on the map where the last sale date via the tax rolls, that they haven't had a sale. Now, that's not to say it could have been an MLS, possibly. So this is tax data. So let's see what we get. We got 20. Oh, we have a red balloon. It was sold. So let's look at that one. On carryback, there it is. Let's see when it sold. Let's go down to the very bottom. It sold July 1st, 2008. And let's go back to the tax grid. And let's click this one that doesn't have a balloon. And let's see what we can find on this one. If we can find any, there's characteristics, there's tax information. Let's go to the history. Let's look at the history. So here's the sales history from public records. It was back in 95. All right. I'm going to go back to the tax grid display. So what do you think we can do with this now, Kelly? What do I want to do with this now that I have 20 people that I want to market my services to?
Well, it would be really great if you could send them something in the mail and say, hey, I'm Barb, and I can help you out if you're really ready to make a move.
So how am I going to do mailing labels here? Let's see. First of all, you need to select them. I'm going to show you how you can select all of them or just a few of them. At the top of the screen, you can click all, and they're all selected. I'm going to click none, and I have 20. I have 25 on a page. Maybe I only want to select the first few, so I click the first one. I can hold my shift key down, and while I hold my shift key down, hit the last one in that group. Maybe I want to select this one, hold my shift key down, and select that. Instead of going click, 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 I can select groups of information or groups of records. I'm going to go ahead and select all, though. So now I want to produce mailing labels, and it's so easy now. So I'm here. I'm going to go down to not email because I want to print mailing labels.
Exactly.
And then I want to email something to them. So I'm going to click print. This is so much easier than in Realist. Here's why. It specifically tells you this one is 5160s, its current resident, and the physical property address. So it would say current resident at 123 such and such a street. The second one is 5160s, the word current resident, and the tax address. That's where the owner gets their tax bill. So it's very easy to do. There's your owner name and the property address. That's the one I'm going to select because I want it to be more personable. But wait, there's more. I can go down here and select this one right here. It'll say current resident and the owner's name on the label, and it'll be the physical property address. So I'm going to select that one.
Lots of choices.
Yes, lots of choices. I can't do any of this because I'm not printing any of that. It's not available here, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Print PDF to show you what it's going to look like. You're going to get a print preview, and I'll zoom in, and there are your mailing labels. Ken Leach, your current resident. Ramon Gomez, or current resident. Pretty nifty, huh?
Really nifty.
Much
really easy.
easier.
Streamlined.
Much easier. So I'm going to select just the one that says current resident and property address to show you the difference. It just says current resident and the property address. So what you would do is print them off, and then you can put in your mailing labels. All right? If we have any questions on that, please let me know. But look up here, tax grid. If I wanted to print the tax grid, there it is. And please notice it comes with my header that you set up in under my information, under my matrix in MLS. Then you have the 360 property view. I'm going to click preview so you can see what that looks like. That's the 360 property view. And guess what? There's my header again. We have the 360 client property view. Same, but with less information, of course. And it's taking a moment to load. It's right up here. It's trying to load. Sometimes that happens. It's a little slow. There we go. And then we have one of my favorites, the multi-map. I love the multi-map. There are all those properties. Look at the information at the bottom. Land use, beds, square footage, and so forth. That is probably my favorite because people like to know where the properties are on a map. And then, of course, you have all of those. So I'm going to go back to results, and I'm going to review what I just did as far as the mapping is concerned and how to do labels. Do you have any questions, Kelly, that I need to address?
We do.
Okay, what do we got?
Lots of people want to know if they can print those labels to a spreadsheet to send to someone else to print the labels.
You know, before I leave this screen, please look at the bottom of the screen. It says export right here.
It does.
I'm going to click export. You get 7,500 labels a month. That should be sufficient, I hope.
That's a lot of stamps.
That's a lot of stamps. You're right. So I'm going to export 20, and I'm going to export. Click export. It's right down here. It comes up, and there it is. And of course, you would adjust it, and you have it exported. And you can do with it whatever you need to do. I'm going to go back to my results. So I'm going to hover over search again and go to public record. What I was showing you is how to market your services to properties that haven't sold in some time. So I am going to go to the map first. And once again, I have set my map at my location. Let me tell you how you do that. I'm going to zoom out on my map. And let's say that I prefer to do it over here and up here in this section. If that's the map I always want to see, and I want to kind of zoom into that area, I'll zoom into the area that I like, a little bit closer, and there I am. To set it as my default, right here under the Results tab is a gear. I click on the gear. I click Set this map view as my starting default. I'll click it. Now I'm going to do my freehand polygon. So I'll do this. I'm going to go across here. I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to go up there. I'm including the shape. Now I'm going to go to criteria. I'm going to go to last sale date, 01/01/2010, and a minus sign. Click results. And there you have it. There are 20 properties. I can put them on the map. There they are. And while on the map, I can click on any parcel and I get some information. Notice I can immediately see the listing, which I think I'll do to show you. It comes up here. That's great. I can see the photos. I can see the history. I can close that tab. I'm back here. If I want to see just the tax information, I click tax, and the tax information comes up. I close that. I can click one that's empty, that doesn't have a house or a pinpoint on it, one of my search results. I click there. I just get tax. Let's see if I click this one. I just get tax. So that's, this one has listing. Even though it doesn't come up in my search, I click listing and I can see that it's sold, and it's sold back in 2017. Oh, and it also sold by a non-MLS member. All right. So let me close that. So I'm going to go back to my results, and I'm going to select them all. And yes, I can email these. I can email them. Let me go back. I can print them. If I click print, there's my print options. Go back to results. I can save this if I wanted to. If I go to save, I can save it as a new saved search. So I'm going to give it a save search name. I'm going to save it webinar March 18th. I'm going to save it on my home tab, and I'm going to save it. So let's say I was in the middle of doing this. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to go back to my home tab, and there's my favorite searches. There's this webinar on March 18th. I click on it, and there they are. I can click map, and they come up on the map. I can export. If I click refine, nothing happens because I don't have anything selected. So how are we doing on questions?
We're doing really well on questions.
Do we have any that I need to answer to the group?
Not so far.
Okay, good deal. All right. So let me go back, pardon me, to my criteria, and I'm going to click clear. I am just going to select active in Dallas County. So all I'm going to do is active in Dallas County. But I think I need to put in a city, so I'll put in Plano, Plano. And I'll click results. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? I selected Plano, and it's in Collin County, not Dallas County. Let me click clear again. So I'm going to select Collin County. I'm going to select Plano, Plano. And then I'm going to select active. And I can select any other status I want. But there's 783. So I've done a little MLS search, as it were, but I got tax information. So these are all for sale. The green balloon indicates that. I click on the tax ID. Again, we see these wonderful tabs, the photos, the history, the parcel map. There's the history on this one. And there's a couple of refis there, July and August of 2018. I can go to the next listing at the top of the screen and go to the next one in Plano, in Collin County, and see what it brings up. Sales history from public records back in 2018, January 17th of 2018, but it's on the market now. So I'm going back to my criteria to show you what I did. As soon as it comes up, there it is. If I didn't want active and I wanted solds, I can do a search right here, 0-90 days. So I'm asking in Collin County, in Plano, those that have 0 to 90 days sold. How convenient is this? When I do results, I can see the last listing, the photos, and there's the tax information on that particular property. So, questions, comments, concerns? Do I hear anything from anybody out there?
So far, we're good.
I'd like to know what you think about it. If you
the results are really positive.
That you like it. Do you find it easy? Again, just doing a regular search Let me do a regular search that you're familiar with. I'll do active. I'll do 250 to 350 in Dallas. So you're just doing a regular search for your buyers. And I've got 314. I think I'll bring that down to 4 bedrooms and 3 or more baths. So I have 23. So I have my results on the screen. I can click tax, I can click photos, and so forth. So this is a nice addition to your MLS system. I especially like the photos and the history, the way it is done. So that's easy. But the bigger news is hovering over search, going to public record. County information up here at the top of the screen. You can search by owner name, which you're familiar with. You can do owner occupied, yes. You can put in a zip code, 75228. I'll select Dallas County in case that zip code goes into another county, but I'm going to select Dallas County. And then owner occupied, and I can select actively in foreclosure. I get 10 results in that zip code in the county of Dallas that is an actively foreclosure and owner occupied. So we have a different colored balloon. Active kick out. We have canceled. We have active. We have canceled. I can click on this tax ID number and get all the information. And there's the foreclosure tab. All right. Let me go back to criteria. And let me erase that one by clicking the little clear button in the bottom left. I can search a school district, which I know a lot of you do. And then here, I can do a seller's name. I can last sale price in tax. I can search MLS status date and square footage and so forth. So, that is your new Matrix 360 and public search. I think it's great. Kelly, do you like it?
I absolutely love it. And a lot of the comments are very positive.
Good.
We have a couple of questions. Sheila would like to know if you can explain a little bit more about the asterisk after the subdivision.
I would be happy to. I'm going to go down here to subdivision, and I'm going to put in Royal Chapel. I'm going to go back up and put, it's in Dallas County. Notice it says no matches. Because subdivision, you have to put the asterisk after the subdivision. Now watch what happens, how many I find when I put an asterisk. 165. Whether you're searching here or on your regular MLS searching screen, you're searching by a subdivision, you must put an asterisk after it to bring up all the possibilities. So if I do subdivision Royal Chapel, there's 165 in Dallas County. I'll go back to my tax grid. And there they are. Now let's narrow it down just for grins. Let me do a, I don't know if that street is in that name. Let me erase. And let me do a street name. I'm just going to put Grantwood. You should never do avenue, road, anything of that nature because you might put it in incorrectly. Maybe it's Grantwood Avenue and you think it is road. So I'm just going to do Grantwood in Dallas County, and there's 12 properties in Dallas County on that street, and that's correct. And see, it's in Royal Chapel Estates. If I had just put in down here Royal Chapel, I wouldn't get any matches until I put the asterisk. And there's my 12. So the asterisk is really, really important when you're searching a subdivision, whether doing this public record search or if you're doing a regular search in MLS on a regular search screen. Good question. Thank you for that.
Perfect.
And any other questions about the asterisk or anything of that nature?
There are a couple that I'm going to have them email us about specific searches.
Okay.
So I've given my email address to,
Okay.
so that you and I can research those this afternoon.
Okay, okay.
Carrie is loving the Matrix 360 upgrade.
Good, thank you. We appreciate that. Now, when you're doing any of searches on any new product that comes across in MLS, something new, some enhancements, if it doesn't make sense or you're having difficulty with it, please do not hesitate to contact the MLS department. I'm going to give you our direct phone number. So if you have a pen or pencil handy, I want to give you our direct phone number that you can call us Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. 214-540-2755. And again, that was 214-540-2755. All right. So let's see what else we have questions. I can't think of. You can just do so many searches on the this new property search here, public search. I can search for square footage size, like I said, school district. If I click the icon to the right, it comes up with the school district names. So let's see. Let me do Carrollton Farmers Branch. Carrollton Farmers Branch. There we are. Whoop, where are we? I got to get C-A-R-R. Where? Well, oh, there it is, right there, right in front of me. Okay, I'm going to select that one. And then I can put, since it's Carrollton Farmers Branch, I might want those in Farmers Branch. So I'll put in the city, and then I could ask for those actively in foreclosure, and there's 22. So you have a lot of flexibility when you're on this new public record search. And again, I simply went by school district, Farmers Branch, city, and actively in foreclosure. I could do the last sale date. I could look for a particular seller. If I wanted so many bedrooms, so many bathrooms, so many stories, I could do that. All right. If there's no other questions.
There are just a few.
Okay.
There's one. There have been a couple of. Does the order of the asterisks make a difference? Does it go in the front, in the beginning, or both? There's been a little bit of confusion as to where that asterisk goes.
So, whether you're in MLS or property search like I am, if you're not sure if the subdivision name is Royal Chapel or Chapel Royal, but you know for sure the word chapel is in it, you put an asterisk first, chapel, and then an asterisk. That will pull up any property where the subdivision contains the word chapel. It could be Royal Chapel, Chapel Royal, bells on the chapel, any of that. So if I click results, I'm going to get quite a few. So let's see what comes up. See, there's Chapel Hill, Allen Chapel, Chapel Glen, Royal Chapel, Chapel View. So the asterisk before and after is a contains, if you're not sure. There is no harm in putting an asterisk in front. I put in asterisk Royal space Chapel and an asterisk. That way, in case that subdivision name is Beautiful Royal Chapel, I would get it. So it's okay to put the asterisk in front of the subdivision name. It won't do any harm, but you always want it at the end. If it is estates, you need to be careful about estates because it could be abbreviated or spelled out. So I can just put an E and an asterisk. I can just put an E and an asterisk. I see a question about, speaking of schools, how can you figure out what specific schools are for certain address? Excellent question. You need to get on the school district website and find out what address, you can put in an address and find out what schools service that address. If you can't figure it out on their website, you can certainly contact the school district. Or if you have someone in your office that knows that information, you can certainly ask them if they have a listing, let's say right down the street, 2 houses down, it's probably a good thing that they're going to go to the same school. So that's an excellent question.
It can also be found in the map section of RPR. So if you guys want to pop into an RPR class,
yes,
that would be a great thing to learn.
That's right. RPR is a wonderful program, and you can also see what schools are around a listing in MLS. When you click on the map, you can certainly find that information. If you click on the map, and there's an icon here that says layers, and if you select school, depending on your view, if you see a pink triangle, that represents a school. When you zoom in closer, you'll eventually see the name of the school. But I want to caution you, always verify the schools for a particular home going into in that neighborhood. Always verify, or the buyer should verify, because there's a home here and there's an elementary school. School boundaries do change sometimes, so or some closing. Some schools are closed, so you might want to check on that. All right, good questions. I love this. I have a question about Remind. I'll address that. That's on the page here. It's called Remind. We don't teach a class on it. You can go to remind.com and find out all kinds of good information about that. Bits of it are no cost to you, but the majority of it you need to pay for, and contact Remind and find out what that cost. It's very, very, very detailed. So check it out if you're interested in it. Go to their website. And again, we're not teaching a class on that. Before we leave, another chance for questions, comments, or concerns about search and the public record and this new way of searching and the new tabs that you can get and how convenient it is doing mailing labels, how easy it is to do mailing labels now, and you can still export, print, do everything you're familiar with in Realist Tax and MLS, but they've been combined for convenience. We don't have any other questions. Kellie and I thank you so much for joining us. We are going to sign off here in just a second or two. If you have any further questions, you can certainly call us, or anybody in the MLS department will be glad to help you. And we don't know what webinar we're going to have next month, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And we hope to see you in class. Anytime we have classes all over in the Metroplex at our locations. Remember, your MLS classes are free and they're all CE approved. So, Kellie, anything else we need to answer on the questions?
So far, so good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful week, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.